Alright, so I'm going to go over the color corrections and the render settings all in this video. And I'm sorry for my fans being crazy. I'm sure you know how annoying Mags can be, so I'm not going to fuck with the audio or anything. I'm just going to let it go. So I'm going to go over color correction like this, which is pretty much just like my typical color correction. I have it on an MW3 map just because I really liked it on this map, but let's see, here it is on a Black Ops 2 map. It looks relatively the same to my typical color correction. I'll kind of go over a different one too that you see me use all the time, but alright, let's just do this. Let's see, here's my code. So the first thing I usually do when I make my color corrections is put a pop on it. So I use pop instead of sharpen. That's just me. I prefer it. And I usually put it on 50. So that's fine. And then I have two base color corrections that I use to start, either this one or this one. This one obviously you would change the color because the green looks disgusting, but this is the one I'm going to start with for the one that I just made. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this diffusion color to red, and also the grad exposure to kind of more of a reddish color. And I'll send you this looks file right here, so obviously you can start with it as well. And that's all I'm really going to do to that. I might mess with it more later. Then I'm just going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to go back in here, new look, and only put a diffusion on it. And I'm going to max this out red as well, kind of a really reddish orange, and up the grade all the way. That you can change depending on what you like. I'm going to leave the size at 30. Once again, you can change that to whatever you want. I'm going to put the glow all the way up. I'm going to leave that at 75. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Yeah, just a little. So that should be fine. That's all I really need there. And then for my different colors that I use, I pretty much, oops, didn't mean to do that. I pretty much just copy what Rob Taser does. Well, I don't think he does it anymore, but what he did a long time ago. I kind of took his idea and made it my own. So I just have a blank adjustment layer, put a curves on it, and then whatever color I want. So this one I'm going to make purple. So up the red, up the blue. Maybe turn down the green a little bit. Whatever, till you get the look you want. Whatever kind of purple you want. And then put a new mask on it. Change the mask shape to an ellipse. And then scale this down to about there. And then put it in the corner like something like this works. Anything's fine, really. Sorry if my computer gets a little laggy. Alright, and then just feather that out 150 pixels. So that's fine. And then just duplicate this. And just hold shift and drag it over. Why aren't you moving? There we go. Stop doing that. So just put this one over here. Move the whole fucking layer. Are you kidding me? Go back. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to reset the colors on this one. Actually, I'm just going to reset the red and the green. I'm going to leave it blue. And then I'm going to up the green and make kind of a tealish color. Okay, not that much green. And I'm also going to put the red down a little bit. Like that. Not so much green. Whatever, that's fine. One thing you can do is you can play around with these and put them under the color correction, or do whatever you want. I'm just going to leave them. Actually, I'm going to leave them down here for now. It looks fine. And then, let's see. Next thing I'll do is I will just put curves on it to adjust the darks. Probably don't want it that dark. Something like that's fine. I'll come back and mess with that in a second. For these colors, the teal and the purple, you can obviously switch them up. So maybe you want purple on this side and the teal on this side or whatever. And then I also usually will create another one and I'll put it on bottom and I'll stretch it out. Sometimes I'll do all four, like one in each corner, but lately I've just been doing one long one on the bottom because I just feel like it looks better. And then change the, for this one I usually do like a yellowish color, but sometimes like purple looks pretty good too. So I'll just do something like that. It looks okay. On this one, not that. On this I did a purple. On this I'm doing like a yellowish, but if you want to do a purple you can. It just depends on what you want it to look like. And then let's see. Oh yeah. There's another color correction that I sometimes use. It's in a pack. I'll send it to you as well. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and add that on. It's in a pack from L, I believe. Yeah. This one right here. And then I usually turn this off. Sometimes I turn the crutch off if I don't want it to be that dark. I'm going to leave it on, see what it looks like. Okay, it's way too dark. Where's that curves at though? Curves might not need to be on at all. Yeah, not really. I'll leave that off. And then I'm going to play around with this. It's not really doing anything. I could change this and make it a little red since it's there. Something like that's not terrible. You kind of get the point though. This is what a typical color correction is for me. So this is what, like 7 layers, sometimes 8, and it can be more than this too. And just to show you, this is it on that Black Ops 2 map again. It's pretty bright. So one thing I sometimes will do is on the one looks full, or the one looks that's just the red diffusion, you could add a mask to it and just drag it up like halfway, like somewhere in here, and then feather that out 150 pixels. Same thing. So then you kind of get this clear look, and then the colorful up here. So that's what sometimes I'll do. So there's what it is, like half, and then here it is on the full thing. It's a lot more bright and everything, so I'm sure you'll mess around with it and make it your own. You know, you're not going to just obviously do the same exact thing as me, but I think it looks really good both ways, really, honestly. And then I'll go ahead and open up. I'll do this. Just save it. This is a recent episode I did. Everything's going to be missing, but the color correction will still be in here. There we go. My very disorganized episodes. So just let me import that. Actually, I'll just put in that hydro. So here's what this one looks like on hydro. It's kind of the same type of coloring that I did, but the skies aren't as bright. You'll see it's pretty much the same exact thing, except I didn't put a pop on this one. But it's those same colors and same diffusion and everything. but I prefer the other one. If you want me to go into detail and show you how to do this one, I can, but I prefer the other one. I'm going to go back real quick. I don't want to render ad from here. So I'm going to show you how I render real quick. So I'll just render this out. I'll delete this. Actually, I'll leave it on that. I don't even care. I'm just going to render one frame, or like 5 frames, just so it doesn't take very long. So add a render queue. Best settings, obviously, I do 29.97. I know some people do 30. I prefer 29.97. I think YouTube caps at 29.97, but it might be 30. I don't really know. I just cut it in half and call it good. I leave everything else the same, best, full, all that. Lossless, yeah, and we're both on max, so that's good. Put it on uncompressed 8-bit. Okay, put the audio on whatever the fuck it is, I'm not gonna look. And that's all you need to do, name it, render it. And it won't take very long to render. I'm sure you already know this, but because it's not compressing at the same time as it's rendering, it won't take very long. Obviously that was only 5 frames, but so then after you render it that way, you could use Handbrake to compress it. I personally don't like Handbrake. I think it's garbage and it always fucks up for me, so I never use it. So how I compress mine is I simply just find, so here it is right here, what I just rendered. You just import the rendered file, the uncompressed, which is going to be huge obviously, and you just put it back in and you create a new comp with it, and then you add it to render queue, and it's going to be all set up for you. And what's nice about this is because like when you think about it, when you import a video, just any like just say a normal clip in After Effects, and you go to render it with like these settings that I'm about to use, like H.264, it won't take very long because it's just a video, you know, there's no effects or layers or anything on it. And since we rendered it uncompressed, you know, it's not compressing whatsoever. The quality's still perfect, but it's now just a video file, so it doesn't really have, you know, like all the layers and effects and everything, which is really nice because then it doesn't take very long to render. So I use H.264, and my format settings is high, 5.1 CBR, and 300 bitrate. Really, the higher you put this bitrate, the better it's going to look, but too high and you have huge files. So okay, put the audio on whatever you want. Okay, render. Yeah, blah blah blah. I sometimes get an error when I render with that. And then here it is right here. It's not gonna play because my fucking After Effects just failed, but I can try again. Hold on. I don't know if you have this problem too, but I have it a lot. Good old Max. Yeah, I get an error sometimes when using H.264. So if you run across that error, there's ways to fix it that I've looked up online before, or you can just use QuickTime, but you can use an H.264 codec. The quality won't be quite as good, but the size of it will be a lot lower. When you render the other way, when you render like this, the size is usually pretty large. I don't know. It really depends, I guess, on how many layers and everything you have going, and how big the original file is when you render it uncompressed. This is how I do it on Mac. If you have fast internet, it's not really a problem. Like an episode for me can be pretty big, sometimes up to like 5 gigabytes, but it only takes like an hour to upload because I have really good internet. So if you have good internet, it's not really a problem, and I think the quality is worth it in the long run. There's like you could use Handbrake, I guess, but I don't know, if you have a good system using Handbrake, then by all means go for it. But this is how I do it. I render uncompressed, and then I render H.264. Mine's failing right now, but you get the point. You're here's what it looks like rendered uncompressed. It obviously is gonna look good. I have this fucked up, but yeah, so that would be my render settings. And yeah, I don't think there's really much else for me to go over, so let me see that vertigo effect. Alright, peace.